Hello, and welcome to Artificial Intelligence Unlocking Student Potential. My name is Keith McRae. I am the Instructional Technology Specialist for the Waynesboro Area School District. What you see here on the left hand side of my slide is what I like to refer to as my very expensive wallpaper. The most important information on this is found in the pictures on the right. My beautiful wife, my two amazing children. It's the children that are our why. Every child that walks through our classroom is the reason why we do what we do. It's the reason why we push ourselves as hard as we do to make sure that at the end of the day, the students that come through our classrooms are better prepared for the opportunities that they are going to have in the future. So today with artificial intelligence, we are just going to briefly look at what is artificial intelligence, how we can use it with our students, some of the problems that it can pose, how you'd use it in your classroom, and how we can help our students use it responsibly and ethically. So, generative AI. Well, at a high level, generative AI refers to a category of AI models and tools designed to generate new content, such as text, images, videos, music, or even code. You're going to notice as we move through this presentation today, I am very cognizant to make sure I use the word generate because AI cannot create. It's not Skynet. It's not a world ending technology from the Terminator movies. It cannot generate anything brand new. Generative AI is not capable of providing for itself. It cannot create. That is a human characteristic. All it can do is generate information from pools of data that we as humans have fed to it. That being said, AI is not a spring chicken. It is not something that just burst onto the scene back in November of 2022. It actually has its roots in human history thousands of years ago. The Greek mythology story about Talos was the story of a bronze humanoid that was built to protect the island of Crete. A little bit closer in history was Alan Turing, who suggested that humans use available information as well as reason in order to solve problems and make decisions. So, why can't machines do the same thing? Well, they couldn't do the same thing in the 1950s for a few reasons. First off, money. The cost of leasing a computer ran up to $200,000 a month. In today's US dollars, that would be $2.2 million. Secondly, they lacked the prerequisite for intelligence. Computers in the 1950s were nothing short of a goldfish. They had no capability to remember commands. All they could do was simply execute them. That didn't stop that theory from starting to gain traction, though. In 1956, Dartmouth actually had a summer research project on artificial intelligence. The year after that, we saw Newell and Simon's General Problem Solver, and Joseph Weizenbaum's ELIZA showed promise towards problem solving and the interpretation of the spoken language. We jump forward a few more years, around 1982 to 1990. We see Japan invest nearly $400 million into their fifth generation computer. Then from the 90s to the early 2000s, Moore's Law emerges, which estimates that the memory and speeds of computers doubles every year. And it finally caught up and in many cases surpassed what we as humans needed. In 1997, if you remember, a reigning world chess champion and grandmaster Garry Kasparov was defeated by IBM's Deep Blue, which was a chess-playing computer. A few years later than that, we saw IBM's Watson on the TV game show Jeopardy! All of those were machine learning algorithms, and they affect a lot of our daily lives. We have chatbots now, smart assistants such as Siri, Cortana, and Alexa. All of those are machine learning. E-payments, search algorithms. Anytime Google tries to predict what it thinks you're searching for by filling in the box before you're done typing. Media streaming. Anytime Netflix or Hulu or Spotify gives you recommendations for what to watch or listen to, that's a form of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Smart cars, navigation apps. Anytime you see Google Maps change from blue to red, that machine has learned that there's traffic you are about to encounter and you're going to be stuck in it for a while. Facial recognition, text editors, even spell check is a low level of machine learning. And social media feeds. We always joke that they're listening. My wife and I were talking about possibly planning an anniversary trip to Disney next year, and now my Facebook feed is filled with nothing but Disney ads. With every new technology that is pushed out, we as society have become so used to taking advantage of it that really now it's becoming an integral part of our lives in such a short amount of time. ChatGPT launched in November of 2022. By January of 2023, it had reached 100 million global monthly active users. You can see that was 7 months faster than TikTok. It took Instagram almost 3 years to hit that mark. But what you can see by this infographic is that we are becoming more and more ready to accept new technology that's going to help us in our daily lives, which is great. So how do we use it in the classroom? There is a lot of AI language models out there that can do some amazing things. So let's take a look at a few of them right now. Debate the Bot. I taught 5th grade when I was in the classroom, and we always looked at deforestation. And it's really hard to get a 10 or 11-year-old to be excited about cutting down all the trees and killing all the cute animals. And because they're not excited about it, we don't get their best work. They're doing it just because the teacher told them they had to. Well, now artificial intelligence can help us combat that. Our students can pick the side of the argument that they do feel passionately about, that we know they're going to give us their best work because they're invested in it. And we can take their argument, copy it, paste it into ChatGPT, Google Bard, one of the AI bots out there, and let that come up with the counter argument. We can then work with our students to identify, using critical thinking and analysis, parts of the argument that we want to attack when we construct our counter argument back. Writing practice. So many times our students are graded on rubrics that they have not seen in action. Well, now we as teachers can have AI bots generate written text and allow our students the opportunity to use the rubric that they are going to be graded on to grade the bot. This helps them understand and compartmentalize what they're looking for when they're writing. What does a 3 actually look like? What does a 4 actually look like? So when it comes time for them to produce their writing, they understand what the rubric is truly asking them for. Vocabulary development. You can have students identify vocabulary words that they would expect to see in a particular text, and then have the bot write a story about that and let them go through and identify their vocabulary words, maybe even identify some words that they're not sure of and have them find the meanings for that one. Communication. When social media really took off in the late 90s and early 2000s, I feel like education kind of looked at it as an at-home problem. And because of that, we never really were shown how it can be used effectively, and why I truly think most social media is the dumpster fire that it is now. But if we as educators take an active role in this, we can help our students see how this new type of platform can help us improve our communication. I worked with a high school teacher where we actually created a question that the students wanted to know about World War II. We put it into the bot and we kept the answer. And then as the students worked through their units through predetermined intervals, we went back and we looked at the question and the students refined the question. They were more purposeful with their word choice. And it was through that they were able to see the machine change the answer based off the words that we chose. It helped them to communicate better. And at the end of it, they had artifacts that they could see their growth in the words they chose in order to get the information that they wanted. You'll notice as I'm talking through this too, at no point am I advocating that we just let our students run wild with artificial intelligence. I'm advocating that we as educators take that model role and we show our students how we can use it to help us be better. No technology is benevolent. No technology is all good, nor is new technology all bad. AI can definitely pose some problems for us in education. Some of the problems that it can pose is that lack of personalization. AI is consistently evolving, but it cannot replicate human emotions. It cannot replicate passion and voice in its writing, which could lead to that lack of personalization. AI definitely can house bias and discrimination because it is pulling from information that we have fed into it. And if we are not cognizant and looking over the data that we are feeding into it, the information that it pushes out is going to house that same bias and that same discrimination. At no point do we want to become over dependent on technology. We don't want it to hinder our ability to think. Quite the contrary, we want it to help improve our critical thinking and problem solving skills. And data privacy and security, AI powered tools in general often collect vast amounts of personal data, which means we really need to be careful and help our students be mindful of being good digital citizens with what they are pushing out into the internet. Some of the other challenges, this is evolving so quickly, it's hard to keep up. The first picture there, the icon with the backwards hat and the glasses, is called Character AI, where students can have conversations with any historical figure through text messaging. It was a platform I didn't even know existed until one of my seventh graders found it. Students are also ingenious. They're going to find ways to skirt the system. AI detectors, student there figured out that if he takes away the commas, the AI detector does not think AI bought it or AI wrote it. And another part of the overdependency. College professor at Texas A&M withheld university degrees because an AI detector said that AI wrote papers, that students had receipts. They had their time-stamped edits showing they wrote it. We cannot rely on that. We need to build those relationships with our students so that when they turn stuff in, we know if they're capable of writing something or not. Can use it as a guide, but not an end-all, be-all. So then how could we use AI in our classroom? As I said, there are so many different platforms that seem to be popping up every second of every day. Just some of the most popular ones so far. OpenAI is ChatGPT, that is a text generator. Google Music LM will actually put music to set the mood or the tone of famous artists and famous paintings. Tome, Merlin, all of those are presentation generators, and they just seem to keep popping up. But it can help you. Here we have teachers using it to help write an outline for an intervention lesson. Another teacher wrote it to actually write a lesson plan for cooking. And finally, we have administrators and secondary teachers using it to help write letters of recommendation. Matt Miller is an author of Ditch That Textbook, And here in this infographic, he gives us 20 great ways that we can use it in the classroom to help our students succeed and to reach their potential. Overall, what we need to do is we need to focus on IA, something I like to call intelligence augmentation. How can we focus on the IA over the AI? What can we create together with artificial intelligence that we couldn't do without it and that the bot couldn't do without us feeding it that information? We can introduce AI tools, adopt those tools that can help students with their language learning, translation software, speech recognition software, or even writing tools. We can have it as a virtual tutor and provide support for our students so that they can work more efficiently. It can monitor their work and give the feedback, freeing up the teacher in the classroom to conference with students and help build those relationships. It can help encourage critical thinking, question the accuracy and the fairness of any of the AI powered writing tools or translation apps, and focus on the context and keep up to date. We need to have our fingers on the pulse and identify new tools that pop up and resources and use the resources that can benefit our students the most. I appreciate you taking time out and participating with this webinar and basically listening to me ramble for about 20 minutes. But if I can again just circle back, artificial intelligence has the potential to change education for the better. We as educators, though, need to get in front of it. It's not going anywhere. So how can we help our students use it responsibly and ethically and create a better tomorrow? If you'd like to reach out, I am on most social media networks. You'll see my Twitter handle is there, or X, or whatever it's being called nowadays. I'm also on Blue Sky, and as well as my email address. Please reach out if you have any questions, if you just want to chat, if you have any ideas, if I can be of help in any way, because we're all on the same team working for the same goal, and that is making sure that when our students leave our classrooms, regardless of the platforms, the technology, or whatever's out there, they are ready to take full advantage of it, and they are ready to be the best that they can be and make the world the best that it can be. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual conference.